In the headlines, Zamfara state government says bandits-related attacks reduced in most local government areas, even as 12 people are abducted in Zurmi local government area of the state. Nigerian Medical Association confirms kidnap of 2 medical doctors in Cross River. 9 die after car plunges into dam in Kano. And on the foreign scene, 2022 Qatar World Cup began with World Clash opening ceremony. Hello and welcome to Trust TV News Update. I'm Zainab Bala. Hello and welcome. Zamfara state government says security situation has significantly improved in the state. A statement by Commissioner for Information Ibrahim Dosara said a survey conducted last week across the state shows that there has been little or no bandit activities in most of the local government areas of the state. The statement, however, said there are some isolated cases of terrorist attacks in parts of Bukuyum, Gumi, Anka, Maru, Talata Mafara, Gusau and Maradun local government areas of Zamfara state, northwest Nigeria. It attributed the development to a recent order by President Muhammadu Buhari to security agencies to deal decisively with the bandits in the northwest states, which, coupled with the synergy between and among security operatives, have greatly helped to reduce the scale of banditry in the state. The state's Commissioner for Information said the hitherto wave of attacks, killings, kidnappings and raping of women have drastically reduced, and people are now seen carrying out their legitimate businesses in most parts of the state with relative ease, except in the several local governments mentioned earlier. Dosara said the government and good people of Zamfara state are therefore expressing their appreciation to the collaboration between the security agencies and government, as well as the renewed determination of the federal government to deal decisively with the menace. The state government is urging both the security agencies and President Muhammadu Buhari to continue to support the unwavering resolve of Governor Bello Muhammad to bring back lasting peace that was enjoyed in the state before now. Meanwhile, armed bandits have abducted 19 people, including 3 nursing mothers with their 1-week-old babies in Kobe community in Zurmi local government areas of Zamfara state. The abduction came barely 48 hours after more than 40 people were kidnapped from Anwa village in the same local government area. A respite from years of deadly attacks on communities in the local government was relatively enjoyed, but in recent time, abductions and pockets of assaults have resurfaced, making the residents to become jittery once again. The mass abduction is believed to be perpetrated by a notorious bandits leader called Ankarami. Ankarami has been terrorizing residents in Zurmi, Birnin Magaji, Jibia Axis in Zamfara and neighboring Katsina states. Last Friday, soldiers conducting operation in the forest chased the bandits. Some of the criminals rushed into Gandu community in attempt to blend with innocent residents or civilian population, residents said. 12 days ago, dozens of armed bandits were killed after days of military operation in forest near a community called Gadar Zaima in Bukuyum local government area of the state. The latest abduction is coming at a time the State Commissioner of Information, Ibrahim Dosara, said the security situation in the state has significantly improved. 2 medical doctors have been kidnapped in Cross River State. The chairman of the Nigerian Medical Association, Calabar branch, Dr. Felix Achibong, has said. While the police are yet to comment on the issue, he explained that the incident happened in the Akankpa local government area of the state. The incident, which is coming a few days after 9 people were kidnapped in the same axis, has left many in fear, especially as the axis is the only exit and entry route to the state capital by land. He called on security agencies as well as the state government to do all they can to rescue the victims, as kidnapping them will have a negative impact on healthcare delivery. Elsewhere, Kano State Fire Service has confirmed the death of 9 passengers when their vehicle plunged into Fada Dam in Gwarzo local government area of the state. A statement signed by the Service Public Relations Officer Samin Yusuf Abdullahi on Sunday said the incident occurred on Saturday evening. Abdullahi said the accident involved a Golf wagon car with 12 passengers coming from Kano and heading to Katsina. Reports said the accident occurred following parking of a faulty vehicle at the middle of the road without proper beckoning for motorists to take caution, and an approaching Golf driver lost control and plunged into the dam after hitting a stone placed close to the faulty vehicle, which was hardly noticed due to poor visibility. Eyewitnesses said the vehicle, which was meant to officially carry driver and 4 passengers, had 15 persons on board. An attempt to pull the car out of the dam made using 2 different vehicles were not successful. Now, 5G governors and Salmagriff People's Democratic Party stalwarts on Sunday announced the formation of the Integrity Group within the party. The G5 governors, led by Rivers State Governor Nyesom Wike, had been clamoring for the resignation of the PDP national chairman, Dr. Yocha Ayu, shortly after Atiku Abubakar, the party presidential candidate, picked Delta State Governor Ifeanyi Okowa as his running mate. Benue State Governor Samuel, Oyo State's Seyi Makinde, Enugu State's Ifeanyi Ugwuanyi, and Ikezie Ikpeazu of Abia State are other members of the G5. Now addressing newsmen before going into a closed-door meeting, Makinde said the Integrity Group remained the face behind the struggle within the party. Makinde noted that at the end of the deliberations, the group would fully brief the media on their stand on all the burning issues within the main opposition party. Other PDP leaders at the meeting are former Governor Olusegun Mimiko, Ayo Fayose, Donald Duke, Jonah Jang, and former Deputy National Chairman of the PDP, Chief Bode George. Nigerians have been advised to shun vote buying and other forms of electoral malpractices. Speakers at a political summit on good governance held in Ibadan, Oyo State, made their submission. Stakeholders identified vote buying, ballot snatching amongst others as part of the strategies of desperate politicians to win election at all costs. Speakers at this summit advised political leaders to embrace the virtue of effective governance, which they believe can only be achieved through credible elections and the rule of law.
If the government of the people, by the people, for the people excludes some people, it is no government. That some people are excluded, or some people believe they don't belong, then that government is not for those people. And government must be for all.
It's not only big boss in the past. They want houses, offices. But where did they lead the parties and the thugs to? Dead end.
This is a time to present a credible program to the people. On no account should there be use of thuggery or intimidation. This is the time there should be a peaceful and free and fair election where people will not have fear to vote for the candidate of their choice.
Moving on, even before the advent of democracy in 1999, youth had been referred to as the leaders of tomorrow. But the popular refrain seems to mock the youths of Nigeria 23 years after the return of democracy to Nigeria, as the number of the youths in both elective and appointed positions seem inadequate. Silas Lowell explores the knotty issue of evolving a more youth-centered democratic process in this report.
While structural factors provide an important insight into how young people engage in the political space, the most important factor is how they themselves perceive their situation. Mass youths seem to have attained political enlightenment and appear to be ready to correct misalignment, which has limited their political stake.
By next year, this time around, we are already 24 years in democracy. But tell me, even a child that is born barely 20 years ago can tell you he has not witnessed anything called dividend in democracy. Nothing. And we have accepted it as a defeat, and it's wrong. We have accepted it psychologically that, okay, politics is make money, spend the money on your people, look for the money again, you come back, they get you elected for the next position. And this is catastrophic. It's not going well for us, and it will never breed anything good for us. Generation yet unborn will grow up, will give birth to our children, they will call us failures. I'm not ready to be called a failure.
Youth now are ready to take back this constituency by the grace of God. So issue of youth, we are all together with youth. In fact, all of us are youth. We, the YPP, we are ready to bring everything to the everything to the possible way.
These young contenders believe the awakening of youth to their engagement in the political arena is a relatively new priority, but extremely timely.
What I'm just saying is that there should be a window in your life, not only politically. There should be a window in your life that you always live for another chance. And it is this window that I'm asking. Please consider me with this chance too. Maybe you will have a change of mind that we are not all the same. So it's not about I have been disappointed all the time. Maybe this one time that you will give a chance, you will see the difference.
Stakeholders said meaningful youth participation in politics is key to realigning the political system so that young people and youth-centered organizations can access more opportunities. From Yola, Salis Lawan, Trust TV News.
Moving on, Christians have been encouraged to emulate the life of Jesus Christ by living a holy and peaceful life. Bishop of the Anglican Diocese Church of Zaria, Reverend Ishaya Baba, said this at the first session of the 5th Synod held in church. Service is a purely Christian assembly organized for Thanksgiving service, deliberations and discussion on the divine power of Jesus Christ and the achievements recorded by the church in the year under review. Speaking shortly after the program, Reverend Ishaya Baba advocated for truthful love and unity among Christians and extends same to non-Christians faithfuls for harmonious coexistence.
Our synod this year is the first session of the 5th synod with the topic, the love of Christ, the root for biblical fruitfulness. We believe that it is the love of Christ that is the root for everyone that wants to be useful in God's hand. God has called us to love God with all our hearts, with all our strength, and with all our mind, with all our soul, and to love our neighbor as ourselves. That is a divine call that God has entrusted to us as people that are following Christ. And that is what we want to live, to carry out for the rest of our lives.
Well, where I talked about worshiping the Lord both publicly and privately, in your words, in the dark and in the light. Because if you look at the New Testament, Jesus never wants us to live double lives. The life I live privately in secret should be his life, his character, his nature. And the life I live publicly should be the same. If I don't lie publicly, I shouldn't lie privately. So he wants us to live, the same life. And that's the essence of what we're talking about. That whether you're at home or in church or at work, you should live the life that befits one who calls himself a Christian.
Women in mining business in Nigeria have expressed worry over gender barrier given the ratio of men to women in the industry. As part of moves to break the gender barrier, Women in Mining has set up Girls for Mining and selected secondary schools in Osun State. During the inaugurating of the Girls for Mining Club in Osogbo, Osun State capital, one of the officials of Women in Mining, Andrew Catherine Ogoma, said mining industry is not for males only, urging girls to develop interest in mining.
There are some courses that girls cannot go into, like this geology of a team. If you go to schools, girls or females that are into it, they are not much. So we're trying to let them know that female can go into it. It's not a difficult course or a job that women cannot do. It's a job that women can do. So we are trying to make sure from the start, from JSS 3 to SS 3, let them know that okay, this so course is good for girls as well, not only for men. It's good for female as well.
Government and well-to-do individuals are being urged to empower more women in society to make them more self-reliant. Kabir Lawal in this report takes a look at how women who are self-reliant can contribute meaningfully to society.
Although this is not the world's first female cobbler, and definitely won't be the last, the passion with which this woman tackles a craft is what endears her customers to her. Success Doshima values her art beyond just monetary benefits, and this truly amazes a lot of people. There are a few of her kind whose story interests a lot of people.
If you don't see me here, you should be in the house. So me coming back late and all those kind of things, I don't have time for friends.
Success is determined to change the narrative of men dominating the industry.
I met a man that he said he doesn't believe in the work, but because he bought the foreign shoe, so he should just give it a try. But thank God I didn't disappoint in him giving me the try, and I put through.
But more importantly, she believes that self-reliance will go a long way in curbing youth's restiveness.
You should believe that we the youth can do better. We can do something around us. We have quality things. We just need facilities to express ourselves. And we need platform also to show that we are good.
Success could not further our education beyond secondary school because of the economic situation of the country, and is calling on the government and well-to-do individuals to support young people so that they can look beyond white-collar jobs, which are few and far between.
The advice I have for the younger ones, or the ones that are coming up, or the ones that are still there waiting for someone to encourage them, is for you to know the type of vision. It might not be this shoe vision that you have.
So how does she react to disapproval from friends and family members over her newfound love for shoe production and repairs? Success Doshima says she settled for a masculine-oriented craft because she likes working with young men who appear more focused in life. She insists that there is no skill limited to men or women, stating that when men find themselves in traits that are tagged feminine, such as hairdressing, they tend to do better. Success Doshima therefore sees no reason why women who find themselves doing work popularly perceived to belong to men should not also excel. Kabir Lawal, Trust TV News, Abuja.
Well, there you go. You're watching Trust TV News Update. Coming up, we'll find out if sugarcane is a fruit or a vegetable. Details of this after the break. Do stay.
Trust TV, documenting the Nigerian story.
Welcome back. If you are just joining us, this is Trust TV News Update and top stories. Zamfara State Government says bandits-related attacks reduced in most local government areas, even as 12 people are abducted in Zurmi local government area. Nigerian Medical Association confirms kidnap of 2 medical doctors in Cross River State. Moving on, youths in Benue State are worried that the African way of life is vanishing due to Western influence. They are worried that most cultures in Nigeria are endangered and called on the government to address the trend. The report.
Well, for a long time, what I knew about our people was mainly the New Yam Festival. I didn't know about what we talked about, like how a woman is supposed to be during marriage, how we assimilated the traditional marriage for a long time. I didn't know about any of this. It was upon my return to Benue State that I actually started finding about it. So this has really, really affected me in not knowing how to speak my language, in not being able to properly talk with my tribesmen. I have a fear of going to the village due to the fact that I don't really know how to speak with my native tongue.
For me, bearing the Oche in my name, it's just an identity that confines me to be an Idoma. But if I will use the word, I am maybe an alien to my own culture, but maybe an accepted indigene of the Hausas, because growing up, my parents, most especially my mother, would actually communicate with us using Hausa, and my friends around.
These are some of the experiences shared by some residents of Makurdi. They are worried that they cannot fit into their own cultures, no thanks to their upbringing in places far from the ancestral homes. The aspect of culture most affected is language. The residents feel native languages are not given adequate attention as channels through which cultures are transferred from one generation to another.
I grew up in an environment where it's dominated by the Hausas. Then in my house, in my family, we were speaking English, more of English and Hausa alone. But my dad will always scold us. Each time he comes around and feels we are speaking or hears us speaking English or Hausa, he scolds us. He will permit me to use my language. Sometimes he has always said it, and that has always sunk in us. With that, we got to learn how to speak our language through my father, because my mom was also speaking that language with us.
It's not taken. Our indigenous language may go down, except otherwise, if we arise and begin to provide materials so that it will become enough, can be printed, can be taught in school. Like in my school in those days, we were taught how to read, even in primary school, in our languages. So I think if that is put in place, we'll go a long way to helping the situation.
Most importantly, they say that parents can play a good part in training the young ones to preserve the languages they inherited from their forebears.
Believed that culture cannot be separated from language. And when we look into what is happening to our culture in Africa, we discover that many things have actually entered into our culture. When you look into how our people speak, even their dialect or language.
The English, French, and other European languages are gradually taking the places of many African languages. In Nigeria, the Pidgin English, an adulterated form of the English language, may soon take the place of our indigenous languages if a deliberate policy is not enforced to save the situation.
Now, there has been argument on whether sugarcane is a fruit or vegetable, but the fact remains it is consumed irrespective of where it belongs to. Abubakar Sadiq sampled opinions of Zaria residents where sugarcane is grown on why people consume sugarcane. He also examines its health benefits. His report.
Sugarcane is a species of tall perennial grass that is used for sugar production. Sugarcane belongs to the grass family, which is so economically important with different benefits. According to experts, sugarcane helps in boosting energy, improves digestion, prevent aging, and even help diabetic patients. Malam Muhammadu Nazifi, who is into sugarcane business and sells the commodity for over 18 years, said sugarcane is mostly consumed by people for excitement, joy, and pleasure. He said it is not considered as a food, but at times its consumption relieves one from hunger. Nazifi said the sugary taste of the species while consuming makes people to engage in talks that are not necessarily relevant. Also commenting, Malam Noor Ahmed, who started selling sugarcane for the past 15 years, said people are fond of consuming sugarcane as a means of satisfaction. Ahmed argued that some people regard sugarcane as a food because it fills their stomach and satisfies their hunger. A consumer of sugarcane, Salisu Jibril, said he has been consuming the species for a number of years and will continue to consume it as long as he has the money to buy. Salisu Jibril added that sometimes he consumes sugarcane as a food, but most of the time as a pleasure and for excitement.
Okay, I take it like 3 times a day. No, it is my pleasure.
A nutrition Bashir Abubakar Magaji Basharata said sugarcane can be regarded as a crop, a fruit and a vegetable because it belongs to the grass family. Basharata said part of its health benefit include energy booster, immune booster, and it helps in cleansing the liver.
That's a fact. And honestly, some are used for prevention, the what we call hepatomegaly. You know, the liver, when it is affected with some diseases. So one out of the important of that sugar cane is used to clean. Yeah, it's clean the liver. Yeah.
From Zaria, Abubakar Sadiq Mohammed, Trust TV.
And in sports, the World Cup opening ceremony kicked off with Morgan Freeman, Jungkook and several others star in the spectacular ceremony that delivered. And that's it on News Updates. Do not forget to follow us across all our social media platforms. I'm Zainab Bala. Thank you for watching.